Hello, Planet Sewers. Welcome to Houston Zoo episode 8. Today we're starting the elephant experience, laying the groundwork for the two habitats. We're going to do Indian elephants and African. We're doing African elephants. Anyway, so the zoo does have Asian elephants, but the game doesn't. So we're going to make two. And what I'm doing to start off is I'm building just the outline as a placeholder. I'll probably go back and redo some of that. Hello, Ruby. There is a building right there as they come out of the natural encounters. It has, looks like for their day camp for educational for kids. And then directly behind there's like a little nature area with plants and a little sitting area. So I'm going to come back and do those a little bit later. I wanted to focus on an animal. Actually two, the elephants. But anyway, so I just wanted to make sure that I had given myself the space for those and mark where they're going to go. So I just threw down some invisible barriers so that I could put the elephants in, make sure that what I'm building will suffice for them, make sure their spaces are big enough, and that the shelters will be big enough compared to what I was looking at as my reference for the images. Moving that null barrier I had put down just so I could get the animals in, so that I can kind of shape this to how it really is, and taking that path back out. I do reorganize all of this a couple of times, and I think I'm going to probably end up moving the power supply, or at the most I'm going to move these two buildings off to the side. I'm not sure. There's another building, kind of, it looks like it's the real entrance to this habitat, like they have kind of a garage looking thing that is where they bring the elephants in and out, and then all of this is part of their habitat back there, where they take care of them. So this little building that I'm building right here, you can walk up to it and you can see inside of this one. The other one you can't. It doesn't have a walk up, but I assume it's probably very similar to this one. So it has probably the little stalls and sleeping areas for each elephant so they can move them from different sides, even though they all are the same type of elephant at the Houston Zoo. I decided, because they had so much space at the Houston Zoo, to use two different types of elephants instead of keeping them the same elephants. They also have where you can watch them get their mud bath over here in the back corner every morning at a certain time, and then where they rinse them off anyway. It's not a mud bath, it's actually a bath, and then they promptly go get muddy again. I had put the other elephants in and went ahead and just boxed them so that they wouldn't escape their invisible barriers as I worked on this left, I guess it's the left habitat for, which elephant is that? Those are the Indian elephant. The African are in the right. So just putting on my roof. Usually I will do the inside of the building before doing the roof. For some reason I decided to do it the other direction. I had wanted to double up the wall right there, but I wanted the roof to fit right, so I ended up just taking that extra layer off. I kind of liked how it overhung on the roof line underneath, but it looked funny in the end, so I just took it off. Then decided I'll just duplicate all of this to the other side. So I removed what I had there before, and my first attempt at duplicating this over to the other side didn't work, so I just picked a smaller version and did it that way. And once I get the full roof on it, I decide that I feel it's a little too tall, so I'm going to come back in a minute and remove some stuff and shorten it down. The one side was just way too tall, for how it really looks in the actual zoo. And speaking of the actual zoo, I didn't get as much done as I had hoped for two reasons on this project for the elephants. One is that when I started it in the original file, I didn't realize that how I had placed the entrance and started building, that I was running into the mat border and I wasn't going to have enough room to keep building. So I had to blueprint everything, and it took several tries, several different forms of blueprints to actually move everything I've already built into another file. And I was a little disappointed because once I got everything in and I was pathing out where everything was going to go, I hope that I have enough room. The way the entrance is built, it's a little deceiving in its angle, so I always kind of get it cattywampus instead of the way it needs to go in relationship to everything inside the zoo. So hopefully it's going to work. I still need to go into the natural encounter building and set up all the paths. The other reason I didn't get a lot done in the Houston Zoo like I wanted to this week was our husky Kai got really sick the other day, and we had to take him to the vet. He is doing much better. He's still not himself. They're not sure what exactly was wrong, but he had a very high fever, and so I'm glad that we took him in when we did. So I took off all the bottom walls here because I noticed the inside had brick, and when I tried to add the brick to just the inside, there was a lot of Z fighting going on. So luckily, the corrugated wall does have a non-grid piece available, so I slapped that onto the outside of the brick and just redid my walls all the way around on the bottom so that it would have a brick inside and the corrugated outside. And instead of making my own gate, I decided I would just turn these to the side and imply, I guess, that they slide into each other. But anyway, I also have been working really hard on my portion for the CANGOTHON. Ravenscar Gaming and I are making a Zoolittle, and so hello Ruby. I am to hand off my portion today, and that took a little bit of time. So I had it all planned out in my head on when I was going to work on what, and unfortunately real life had some other plans for me, so I wasn't able to get as much done in the Houston Zoo as I had hoped, mostly though because I did have to basically rebuild the zoo with blueprints. That was pretty challenging. It took me a couple of tries to figure it out. But the CANGOTHON is July 23rd for my live stream. We'll be doing the Planet Zoolittle with me and Ravenscar. I'll be doing 8 p.m. Central, and y'all can come say hi to Ruby, see what she looks like. But that whole weekend, July 22nd, the 23rd, the 24th, and the 25th, myself and several other YouTubers organized by Pausley are going to be doing videos, live streams, all in effort to raise money for the CANGOTHON. So make sure you go check out and support those who are trying to help CANGOTHON keep their doors open and their animals fed. They still are experiencing some lockdowns from COVID going on in their location. So I'm super excited to be a part of it. What I'm building here is what looks like when you look inside, they have these little sleeping bays where they can separate the elephants. I did leave gates off because of the game. The elephants have a pretty big hitbox, so I wanted to make sure they could still get in here, get into those spaces, and freely move around, get to their bedding and such. So I didn't want to add any gates because it was already a tight squeeze for them. When I checked the traversable heat map, you can see they can just barely get in there. And so if I add a gate, I'm afraid that they will not be able to use that space. So that is their hard shelter. I'm redoing the barrier out here so that one, I can click it and put in that wire. It didn't have a curve option when I tried to do it with just the wire, whatever that is. So I just did it in invisible so I could get the curve and then just changed it. Thank you to Pausley for that trick. It was in one of his tutorial videos that he has. Anyway, so I decided to go ahead and separate those two habitats completely so they weren't sharing any sides to go around this path, because you can walk down here and you can look in, you can see them. And the other point off to the right there is so that you can watch them do the elephant bath in the mornings, right where the elephants are coming out. That's where they bathe them and hose them down every day. And then now I'm ready to go ahead and set up their outside of the habitat. I still have a lot to do in here, so I just got the basic build in, and then got their habitat set up so that the elephants are happy with their terrain and they're happy with their plants and their plant coverage, and of course that they have enough toys and food enrichment for them to have good welfare while I go ahead and next episode I'm probably going to set up the African elephant side and lay out where all of their things are, and then I'm going to come back to this habitat. I need to build a sunshade off to the left near where the building outline is for that education center, and then I need to add in, they have a couple of other sunshade areas inside the habitat, so I will be building those details, and then moving on to the African side. So you'll notice if you've been following along that the path in here looks a lot different. I think I definitely got it better this time around, but that's from having to move everything, and I haven't finished the setup yet on the viewing platform for the seal. It looks like I'm missing some foliage right there. We're not going to go into the natural encounter building today because I still need to set up the otters. I haven't finished the tunnel. Those are real tricky. So out here there is greenage, and then over here there's another little nature center, and then that building that I was telling you about. And I also need to change the outside. There should be prairie dogs out there. So we're going to go down this way and check out the staff section of the elephant area, and then we'll walk around and go check out the other side. So over here is like all their back access to get in and move the animals, take care of the animals. So that's their sleeping and washing area. And oh, they're both in the little water feature. And that's another detail that I need to add, is all the rocks and things that are around their swimming hole in this habitat. And I think I'm going to move that mud enrichment over to the bathing station. That makes more sense, I think, for it to be over there. And then right here is where I need to put that sunshade that I was talking about. But we're just going to exit and come out this way. They also have a little thing right here with the feeders that I'll need to detail. And I think I'm going to push their barrier back. They do have two barriers. They have a little cute fence. And then I need some scenery right there. And then they have the actual barrier and some plants in between. So you can see the elephant really likes his swimming hole there. And then as you come up here, they have some educational stuff. I need to detail the windows here. And then as you come over here, that's where you can see when they wash them at that set time. And then over here you've got that nice viewing of them for them swimming. When we went to visit, they were really having a good time in the other swimming pool. They have a pretty large one in the second habitat. And here they are, enjoying their habitat so far, following them around, trying to get some screenshots. I really like how they stayed together for so long. It was really cute. And then we have this really weird glitch where they ran through each other. But anyway, so thank you so much for watching my video today. I hope you guys have a great day. And don't forget to check out the CANGOTHON and join me for my first live stream. May the RNG odds be ever in your favor.